Hi, I'm Robert Manny Jr. with Alpha and Omega Productions, and I'm here today to talk about Blackmagic Raw again, because there's a lot of misinformation about Blackmagic Raw out there on the web. And I was reading something on No Film School today, and they were talking about, you know what? Don't let me tell you what they were talking about. I'm just going to read the quote. The quote says, blah, 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 quote, new Blackmagic Raw codec, which is much smaller than the Cinema DNG of the Pocket 4K, though I think we all expect the Pocket to get the new BRAW format soon. Not a great sentence. No Film School. In fact, it kind of has to. The current Cinema DNG format files are just too big. The current Cinema DNG format files are just too big, end quote. No, they're not. They're the same size. So a lot of people out there that think, oh, if I use BRAW, I'm going to save space, therefore saving money and not use as much hard drive space. No, you're not. It's misinformation. It's misleading. And it's misleading because if you really don't do your homework and you just look on the Blackmagic website, which I'm about to do right now, you see it says uncompressed. Uncompressed, they have a chart here. It says uncompressed Cinema DNG RAW at 548 megabytes per second. 548 megabytes per second. That's a lot for uncompressed RAW. So if you're using Ursa Mini Pro, as I do, that's a lot, 548 megabytes per second. But guess what? Guess what? No Blackmagic camera records at uncompressed Cinema DNG. It records at lossless Cinema DNG, which is different. The highest, let's look at this, for 4.6K, these are on their website, the tech specs. Let's look here. Cinema DNG RAW, 391 megabytes per second at the top end, not 548 megabytes per second. Well, then people will say, hey, well, okay, so that's misleading. Why would they put uncompressed Cinema D? The only place BRAW exists today is on the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K. Use that number. But they don't. It's misleading. And so even if you use constant quality BRAW, which is the highest quality they have, it tops out at 274 megabytes per second. So you say, hey, well, that's still lower than 391 megabytes per second, right? Yeah, but that's not apples to apples, folks. It's still compressed. So just don't think you're saving space. And this proves it. Even on their website, here we go. Here we go. Text, Ursa Mini Pro at 4.6K. Blackmagic RAW 3:1, 183 megabytes per second. Apples to apples. Cinema DNG RAW 3:1. Yeah, 183 megabytes per second. It's the same. The difference is the Ursa Mini Pro doesn't offer the compression for Cinema DNG. You don't get 8:1 compression or 12:1 compression. So yeah, you're going to get smaller file size because you get greater compression. But that's at a cost when you get to grading. So if you're going to use 8:1 to 12:1 to save space, then yeah, you're going to save space. Because Cinema DNG RAW only offers 3:1 and 4:1. But guess what? If they offered 8:1 and 12:1, it would be the same size. You're not saving space is my point. And the fact that they have this chart up there is misleading. The fact that No Film School is out there saying, oh, that they have to get BRAW because Cinema DNG files are just too big. They're the same size, folks. Stop saying that. The benefit, BRAW is great. The benefit is you can edit it on a laptop. The benefit is it's easy on your computer. The benefit is you can put those files on an SSD, plug it into a portable SSD, plug it into a 3.0 port, and edit on your laptop, raw. That's the benefit, not the file sizes. Stop. Robert Manning Jr., Alpha and Omega Productions, ranting again, signing off. Stop it. So we're looking at the Blackmagic website here, next generation RAW codec, and it's talking about Blackmagic RAW. And let's scroll here. It's talking about working with traditional RAW formats is difficult because files are huge. And here's the thing. What are they talking about? BRAW is only available on the Ursa Mini Pro 4.6K. Cinema DNG RAW, lossless RAW, not uncompressed RAW. And yes, is it difficult if your CPU can't handle it? If you don't have a CPU and GPU that can handle those files? Yes, it's difficult. BRAW you can edit on a laptop, right? But then it says better performance and even smaller file sizes. The smaller file sizes come as these examples are here where it says download clip 1 and clip 2, blah, blah, blah. And is this example here of this young lady with a beautiful blue background. It's 12:1 compression. The Ursa Mini Pro doesn't offer 12:1 compression with Cinema DNG. If they did, it would be the same file size. Now, if you look here, it says uncompressed RAW, 448 megabytes per second. And then it has that compared to all these green and blue little, oh yes, this is so much lower. No, it's not. They're not comparing apples to apples. There's no camera in the Blackmagic lineup that records uncompressed RAW. None. It records lossless RAW, and it's not the same thing. And then here, profiled on an iMac Pro 18 Core Vega 64, which is how much money? They're advertising the wrong things, and I can't even, don't get me started on the fact that the RAW player is only available still on Mac. Yes, I'm on a Mac, but it needs to be available on PC too. Yeah, it's misleading. Now, if you look, these are the tech specs of the Pocket Cinema 4K. Look at here, right? Cinema DNG RAW, 272 megabytes per second. Cinema DNG RAW 3:1, 129 megabytes per second. Now let's compare apples to apples here. Now, if we're looking at, here we go, 4.6K, Blackmagic RAW 3:1, 183 megabytes per second. Blackmagic RAW 3:1. Guess what, folks? Cinema DNG RAW 3:1, apples to apples, is the same size, 183 megabytes per second. You're not saving space. The benefit comes to Blackmagic RAW that you can edit it on a laptop, and that's it. That's the benefit. It's easy on your computer, but you're not saving space. So please don't go out and buy a Blackmagic camera because you think you're going to shoot RAW and save space and save money. You're not. You're going to be using the same amount of space. The only difference is Blackmagic RAW comes in 3:1, 5:1, 8:1, 12:1, Q0, Q5. That's why you can get smaller file sizes when you start going to 8:1 and 12:1, because that's not offered in Cinema DNG RAW. Those compression rates aren't offered. That's it. Blackmagic 3:1, 33 megabytes. Cinema DNG 3:1, 33 megabytes at 1080p. All right.